morning practice and evening practice are like the bookends, and it's even though it's very short, it's good, very good psychologically to start and end with something. So the start of the day is like motivating, and the end of the day is checking up and purifying and dedicating, things like that. Then we feel like one day is useful. So, okay, many things we can do. Meditate, it's got a very broad meaning. So first, it's just in a casual way, we have our motivation, no need to sing a prayer. We think we're sitting here for this 30 minutes to make an effort to focus our mind, put it in one direction. And that really means with virtue, to be virtuous, to be positive. That's the point. So we're thinking we're going to make this 30 minutes just to set our minds going, have a few thoughts, create a little bit of virtue, purify our mind a little bit. Why? So we can spend the rest of the day watching our minds like a hawk, but having our body and speech be useful for others, not harmful. This is how bodhisattvas think. So we think this way. So let's just do a little visualization meditation. If we've not done this kind of meditation before, that's okay. Just try and get the meaning of it. So all these different Buddhas, they're just really visual. It's psychology, and they're just visual representations of the qualities. In this case, the one we're going to do, the qualities we want to accomplish. It's very powerful, positive psychology. Buddha was your best positive psychologist. There's no question. Cognitive therapist as well. There's no question. So here we're going to visualize the three essential qualities of an enlightened mind, which is our potential. One is compassion, empathy with others, ego gone, interconnected with others. And that's represented by the Buddha called Chenrezig in Tibetan, compassionate, eyed one. Then we have the wisdom. We need the wisdom to know how to benefit all those sentient beings. And that's Manjushri, Manju, gentle voice. And he's holding a sword aloft, cutting through ignorance. But this third quality, you've got to have compassion to want to benefit, to wish to benefit others. The wisdom to know how. But the third quality is crucial. It's the ability to do so, the power. So often this is depicted by Tara, Buddha Tara. She's female, green light body. So just visualize in front of you, imagine this energy in front, and think of it as like a mirror image of your own potential. That's the idea. And this is a method for accomplishing exactly that, because the Buddha says whatever we think, feel, do, say, none of it goes astray. We are programming our mind every second. So we visualize, imagine in front of us this blissful energy, this bodhisattva aspect of the Buddha, not like a monk, but bodhisattva aspect, female, green light body, which is like action energy. Often the female energy is depicted as cutting through the obstacles, quick, no nonsense, sharp. She's known as the liberator from all the fears of samsara. She's like courage, optimism, success, action. And we all need that badly. And so all these aspects, these bodhisattva aspects, they're radiantly beautiful, all looking gorgeous, young, delicious, beautiful. She's got this blissful face. And her eyes aren't in this quiet aspect of meditation like Shakyamuni Buddha. They're kind of almost slightly wide open. She's got this powerful energy, think like that. Sweet mouth, red mouth, utterly beautiful. And if you have a spiritual teacher, this is what makes it real for us. If we have a spiritual teacher, even just someone we like, then you imagine it's their mind manifesting as Tara for our benefit. This makes it really personal, And she's holding, she's sitting, her left leg is like in the meditation position, but her right leg is resting out. She's sitting on a multicolored lotus, and her right leg is resting on another little multicolored lotus in this kind of relaxed pose, ready to hop up to help others. It's her action energy. And her right hand is on her knee with the palm up, fingers pointing out in this gesture of kind of openness, of giving. And her thumb and her ring finger, you imagine, are holding the stem of a blue upala flower that blooms at her right ear. She's got these gorgeous silken rainbow-colored clothes on the lower part of her body. Her upper part of her body, mostly you see she's just got nothing on, these gorgeous breasts, but beautiful jewelry around her throat, upper arms, wrists, on her crown. Her hair is partially held up in a top knot, and you can imagine all the rest of her black hair, each one individual, very crystal clear down her back. and on her ankles as well, jewelry, looking utterly beautiful, like this Indian royal style. And then her left hand is at her heart, and the fingers are pointing up in the mudra of the 3 jewels, I think. And she's holding in the between her thumb and her ring finger the stem of another blue upala flower that blooms at her left ear. Everything's crystal clear, gorgeous, beautiful, makes the mind happy. And think she's a mirror image of your own potential. The way they talk about these practices in Tantra is that we're bringing the end result into the present. This is like imagining. This is exactly what positive psychology is, positive thinking. You know. So now we just imagine so compassionately she sends from her brow radiant laser beams of white light that enter our brow and fill us and instantly fill us, and annihilating first all the misery of our bodies, all our heaviness of this big bag of bones, the sickness, the difficulties of the body, totally making it light and so healthy and beautiful. But also, crucially, this light purifies all the karmic seeds, all the karmic imprints of all the actions we've ever done since beginningless time to harm sentient beings with our bodies. All of this instantly purified. Imagine, full of this blissful white light. Again, Lama Tara so compassionately sends from her brow these laser beams of white light that penetrate our brow again and fill us, and this time with our potential. This is the point. With meaning, first of all, right now, this body, imagine right now, it can only benefit others. Impossible to harm others. Can you imagine? Impossible. Whoever sees us, hears us, tastes us, talks to us, smells us, touches us, they can only benefit from our body. Can you imagine? But not only that, manifesting this incredible potential when we are a Buddha of effortlessly being able to effortlessly manifest our mind in countless bodies throughout countless universes for the sake of countless sentient beings for as long as time exists. That's our potential. Blissful, radiant bodies throughout space to benefit sentient beings, full of this marvelous potential. White light. And now Lama Chenrezig so compassionately, wanting only to benefit us, it's her job, nothing else. She sends from her throat radiant beams of red light that penetrate our throat and fill us completely with this blissful red light, instantly purifying this time, instantly purifying all the nonsense of our speech, you know. I mean, we often feel we can't express ourselves properly. Words blurt out our mouth that we don't mean. We say the wrong things, even if we're not being negative. It's uncontrolled speech, not clear speech, not accurate, you know. And then all, of course, the harm we've ever done with our speech, very specifically of lying, harsh speech, rabbiting on about nothing, and bad mouthing behind backs. This is the way and of course, this is as humans, we're the clever ones with our speech. So since beginning this time, when all the karmic imprints in our mind left from doing these actions is eradicated by this blissful white, red light filling us. Can we imagine? Full of this blissful energy. Again, Lama Tara sends these radiant red beams from her throat that enter our throat, and this time fill us with our potential, the power of speech. And this is the main gift of the Buddha. You can look at Tara for 10 trillion years. You can look at Shakyamuni Buddha for eons, but if they don't open their mouths and give advice, then we can't communicate. We need their speech. We need their speech. This is the advice. This is how we get enlightened. And think in our daily lives, we need speech. If you can just ask for something in the shop, if someone doesn't like your speech, they won't do what you say. So we need the power of speech, which comes from saying mantra, it comes from speaking virtuously, and it comes from being silent and not speaking negatively. This is what brings the power of speech. Then whatever we say will be beneficial. Whoever hears it. Can you imagine? Can you imagine this? Full of this incredible potential. Whoever hears us, whatever we say, even our laugh, even saying good morning, will be naturally beneficial for those who hear us. This is what we need to accomplish. So imagine, full of this extraordinary power of speech, this blissful red light, our potential. And now Lama Tara so compassionately sends from her heart chakra, the center of her chest, radiant laser beams of blue light that enter our heart and fill us completely. And this time, eradicating, purifying the source of all the problem, the source of all the rubbish speech and actions of our body, which are what cause us to harm others, which is what causes us to continually be reborn in suffering realms, life after life after life, and cause us to have bad things happen to us from others. This is the cause, our own actions of body and speech. And the root of it are the misconceptions. The root is the misconceptions in the mind. These delusions, misconceptions, fabrications, fantasies, conceptual stories that we have made up over eons. So the root, there are 84,000, but they subsume to the three. Ego grasping, which is the colloquial term used for the root delusion, ignorance, when it's clinging to the inherent self, which gives rise to this bottomless pit of emotional hunger, dissatisfaction, attachment, neediness, expectation, manipulating, controlling, possessing, which is attachment, the root of our problem in day-to-day life, the motor that drives us every second, this bottomless pit of hunger, attachment, which then gives rise to the panic attack of aversion, anger, annoyance, irritation, frustration, upset, stress, anxiety, worry, panic, of despair, depression. They're all variations of this fundamental panic attack of aversion, which is the response when attachment doesn't get what it wants, which is 1,000 times a day. Utterly primordial. We don't even notice this. And then there's these three, the root delusion, the attachment, and the aversion, which have this intimate connected relationship, disappeared, and all the other delusions that come as a result, gone, completely gone, eradicated. Can you imagine? Eradicated. Full of this blissful blue light. Again, Lama Tara sends the blue light, the beams of light from her heart that enter our heart and fill us. This time with what's left. You see, this is the thing. Once the delusions are gone, this is the Buddha's view. This is Buddha's unique view about the mind. To remove the delusions so that what's left, what's real in our mind, the virtue, that's who we really are. That's what defines us. That's our true nature. That's what's left once the delusions are gone. So here, because we've uprooted the root delusion and all the other nonsense, you know, we've achieved liberation. Imagine we've achieved liberation from suffering, our own nirvana, our own cessation of suffering and its causes. And that will just naturally mean, it implies, our mind is utterly blissful. This is our natural state, because it's delusions that make us not happy. So now the mind can only be happy. No choice, it's its nature. Which also means all the virtues: compassion, empathy, kindness, love. And we've only achieved liberation, but still our mind is astonishing, full of joy, full of clarity, full of self-confidence, full of wisdom. Absolutely amazing. This is our natural state. Amazing. Imagine this, full of this blissful blue light, this liberation from suffering and its causes. We can achieve more. If we add bodhicitta to the mix, then this enhances in trillions of times more this virtue and this wisdom. So now imagine removing even the subtlest imprints in the mind from all the left over. It's like a second rinse. You remove even this, they call it the obstacles even to our omniscience. So imagine from the brow, the white light, from the throat, the red light, from the heart, the blue, entering our three places, filling us with this, and now activating our Buddhahood, activating our omniscience, infinite bodhicitta, infinite wisdom, trillion times more powerful than before, our natural potential to become Buddha. Imagine this, want this. So now imagine Lama Tara is so happy, so joyful for us. So now you imagine that the lotus that she's sitting on, and the lotus that her right leg is sitting on, right foot is resting on, that is dissolved into light up into her body. Just imagine. And then you imagine she very happily comes and sits above our crown, facing the same way as us. Our Guru as Tara. And then with her delight, from her delight, her wish to become oneness with our body, our speech, and our mind, she dissolves into green light and enters in our crown, through our crown, and then fills us completely. And we imagine the body and speech and mind of Tara, the body, speech, and mind of our Lama, and our body, speech, and mind completely merge. Union, oneness, as Lama Yeshe would say. Just imagine this. So now, for a minute or two, we just imagine we expand to fill the universe. No limit. This blissful, perfect nature, the perfected body, speech, and mind. Just imagine it. It just pervades the universe. So abide in that blissful, joyful expanse. No thoughts. So now think, now I'm the Buddha, all these countless lifetimes of hard work, driven by my compassion, seeing the unbearable suffering of sentient beings and knowing I have no choice but to become Buddha. Now I've accomplished it. What's my job? My job is to benefit sentient beings. That's it, for as long as time exists. So now imagine in front of us and behind us and above us were all the sentient beings, and let's imagine them in the form of the enemies and the friends and the strangers. These are the objects of the three delusions. The object of attachment are our beloved friends. Think of those to the left. Eyeball to eyeball right in front, the objects of your aversion, your so-called enemies. We mightn't use that word, but it's a good term here for those we don't like, who've harmed us, whom we have aversion for. And to the right, the strangers, the object of our indifference. But not just to the right, but then as far as you can see in the horizon in front, above us, to the right, to the left, behind us, and below us. All the strangers, all the living beings of all the realms of existence, but in the form of humans, which is the form they can get enlightened in. All beings of the universe, all the samsaric sentient beings, imagine all of them in all the realms, the formless realm, the form realm, the gods, the anti-gods, the humans, the animals, all the suffering spirits and all the suffering hell beings, pervading space. So a friend by definition, in this context, is an object of my attachment. And they're the ones that look gorgeous, whom we adore. Why? Because they fulfill my attachment's needs. The second they don't, they turn into the enemy. You put them in the enemy category because they don't do what my attachment wants. They even harm me. They're the enemies. And to the right, how do we feel about them? We couldn't care less. They could all drop dead. We wouldn't know. We wouldn't even mind. Wouldn't even know, because they've neither harmed nor helped us. And this is the universe. So normal, we don't question it. Well, we've got to go past this, Buddha says. If we want to become a Buddha, there's no question. We've got to get beyond these nonsense misconceptions, these fabrications. Completely fabricated. These are three categories of sentient beings that are completely fabricated by our mind. That doesn't mean the friend doesn't help us. And that doesn't mean the enemy didn't harm us. And that doesn't mean the stranger did neither. They're facts. But they're the wrong basis. They're the wrong logic to use. They're ego's logic for why I want sentient beings to be happy, which is love, and why I want them to not suffer, which is compassion. So now we're Buddha. No problem. We see them all as perfect. We see them all as equal. We only want to help each one. We only want to take each one from suffering and give them whatever they want. So imagine from our hearts, trillions of tiny green taras go out, front, above, below, the behind, the sides, to the whole universe. But first, let's go to the hearts of the enemies, our aversion objects. Even if it's somebody at work who just annoys you, that's what aversion does. Makes the person unhappy, not nice. So imagine these taras going into their heart, totally taking away their suffering and the causes of their suffering, which is their delusions. Could you unmute? Could you mute yourselves, you people who got you unmuted there, please? Or can Matt unmute them? Can you unmute everybody, Matt? Or mute everybody? Just so we can keep it quiet. It's a couple of people unmuted. So then, these enemies, we now imagine taking away their suffering and then giving them whatever they want. Imagine them radiant, happy, blissful, their delusion's gone, and they have everything they need, whatever it is, everything they need in the most simple sense. And now you think the friends the same. Take away their pain, take away their suffering, and give them everything they need. These Taras filling their hearts. And then all the strangers, same thing. So see them transforming from suffering, tormented sentient beings to blissful, joyful, getting everything they need, the food they need, the money they need, the housing they need, the comfort, the happiness, the joy, giving this, no question, wanting to do this and take away all their pain and the causes of it, which is their own negative karma. Imagine this, trillions of Taras going out. And just for a minute, we can now, as we say this, as we visualize this, wanting this, we also sing Tara's mantra, which is just a sound manifestation of the same energy, that's all. So you sing the mantra to yourself, or you just imagine it. As you're saying the mantra, wherever you are, the sound goes out and blesses whoever hears it. Imagine this. Om Tare Tu Tare Tu Re Swaha. 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 Imagine they're all free of suffering and full of happiness. Every single one. Trillions of sentient beings. Now again, we imagine trillions of green Taras coming out from our heart, tiny ones entering into the hearts of the enemies, friends, and strangers, this time turning them into their Tara. Because every being is equal in having the potential to become a Buddha. It's our natural state. Trillions of Taras going out and they turn into green Tara, every one of them. Just imagine the whole universe now full of these blissful green Taras, all the transformed sentient beings. Om Tare Tu Tare Tu Re Swaha. 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 All transformed. How amazing. All Tara. So we also just think purposefully that this may be conscious, particularly now we think of people who we know is sick or dying. And we, for example, one person we know is Harry, the meditator, the American meditator, who's having surgery this morning at 8:30. Anybody else you know who's died, who is sick, you consciously think of them, blessing them with Tara's energy, wanting to benefit them, wanting them to be well, thinking this way, strongly thinking this way. And then we imagine all these transformed Tara, all these transformed beings, all these Taras, all dissolve into green light and enter into our body. Imagine enhancing even more brilliantly our own Tara nature. The courage to act based on the compassion that wants to help and the wisdom to know how. So we think for the rest of the day, remember, your body and speech. Think like a bodhisattva. Your body and speech is for others. Don't think it's just me plodding through life, you know. Your body and speech is what others see and hear. So that's for their benefit. But your mind, that's yours. Watch it like a hawk every second. In this way, making every second of the day positive, virtuous. And we just finish with the 4 immeasurable thoughts. This marvelous attitude of the bodhisattva, so courageous. How wonderful it would be if all sentient beings could abide in equanimity, free of attachment, anger, and ignorance. May they abide so. And now the brave attitude of the bodhisattva. I will make this happen. Please, Lama Tara, bless me to be able to do this. How wonderful it would be if all sentient beings could be free of suffering and its causes. May they be free. I will make this happen. Please, Lama Tara, bless me to be able to do this. How wonderful it would be if all sentient beings could have happiness and its causes. May they have them. I will make this happen. Please, Lama Tara, bless me to be able to do this. How wonderful it would be if all sentient beings were never parted from higher rebirths and liberations, excellent bliss. May they never be parted. I will make this happen. Please, Lama Tara, bless me to be able to do this. And we dedicate this 30 minutes of amazing thoughts, none of it gone astray, all these seeds we've planted. May they ripen in exactly how we meditated, in exactly how we visualized. So we can function in exactly that way, no matter how long it takes, for the sake of every single suffering sentient being. Jangchu semcho rinpoche ma ke panam ke guchi ke panyam pa me pa yang gong ne gong du peba shog. Goodbye, everybody. Now, if you die now, you'll be very happy. Thank you, everybody. Much love.